So I'm just down here on the start straight and about to do this track walk here in Portugal, and I bumped into somebody making his return from injury. Mitch Evans.
Hey guys.
Good to see you, mate. Welcome back, first of all. How's it been, and why have you been missing in action?
Yeah, thanks. It's good to be back. Yeah, really happy. Got a smile on my face as soon as I walked in the pits. It's not fun sitting at home watching it. It kind of felt like 2021 all over again. So yeah, definitely a big smile on my face. And yeah, just I broke my thumb, like I think it was 4 weeks before Argentina, and they said it was just a little break, so we just kept trying to ride, which just stopped it from healing all the time, and ended up having like a lot of bone bruising in there, so it just took longer than we would have liked. And also being my bad wrist, that also makes it take longer. But yeah, we just kept trying to ride, like after 2 weeks off, and then again after 3, and then trying to race Argentina. And then after Argentina, like I was in so much pain there that we just said, okay, what's the point in trying to keep coming back? We might as well let it heal properly, and once I can start riding consistently, which I've been able to do for the last three weeks, so yeah, finally feeling healthy again, and my speed and fitness isn't too bad, so we'll see how it goes on race weekend.
And is there a particular reason why you've made a return here? Because you've had some good results here. You've certainly had a good result here in the past in MX2.
No, I mean, yeah, that's obviously nice to come back here and yeah, have those good memories, but it's more just I could finally start riding consistently, like before Arco race, whereas before I'd like ride one day and then the next day would be so painful that I'd have to stop, whereas yeah, the week before Arco I was able to do 3 days during the week, and then we didn't want to go to Arco and just try and make up the numbers, you know, so we gave ourselves another 2 weeks to get some laps in, and now we're feeling quite okay. So yeah, I think the quali race fitness should be alright, but we'll see how the 2 longer motos go, especially in, like, okay, it's not hot here, but compared to what we're used to in Belgium, it's a little bit more warm.
Yeah, and finally, the track in the reverse direction. I know you're about to go and look at it. Some pretty big jumps. I know you've just been by the finish line area and stuff like that. Yeah, the track's in the opposite direction, but should ride okay?
Yeah, I think it should be good. I mean, this track here has always been really nice and flowing, but honestly I think it should probably flow a little bit better going the way that it goes now. But yeah, we'll see how it turns up tomorrow, but hopefully they get some water into it and it gets quite a few lines into it. But yeah, looking forward to it. Some nice big jumps, so yeah, and the fans here are always great, so yeah, looking forward for a good weekend, and happy to be back in the paddock, and finally be in the paddock with my new team, you know. So like we were in Argentina, but that's a flyaway, so it's a little bit different. So yeah, it's nice to see the trucks all set up and not parked up in the workshop.
Cool. Enjoy your weekend.
Thanks.
Good to have you back.
Thanks, mate.
Mitch Evans there. Right, I'm going to get on with this track walk. So stay tuned. Let's see how this one pans out. Hey everyone, welcome to our GoPro track walk here, round 5 of the FIA Motocross World Championship. This is the MXGP of Portugal, and we return to Agueda. Not been here since round 4 last year, and the biggest news is the racetrack runs in the reverse direction for the first time ever. Now bear in mind, we came here for the first time in 1985, an event that was a 125 Grand Prix won by Dave Strybos on a Cagiva from the Netherlands. Then obviously that's some going. But we've only ever had 23 runnings here, so this will be the 24th time we've come to this Agueda circuit that's had various changes over the courses of the years in terms of jumps and layouts and things. But as I said, the first time ever in the reverse direction. So how has it changed then? Well, let's start with the start, shall we? Now, if you look there in the background, you can see the start straight. Well, the start straight is exactly the same, but the first turn used to go up that hill there. And if we just pan back, the new first turn brings us a little bit wider, a little bit deeper into what was the first downhill. There you see the foxhole shot line, and then over the crest. Let's go take a look at turn 2 and how then that relates to the rest of the racetrack. So just the other side of the first summit then, and you can see exactly the type of first turn, second turn that we have over the summit. Now this second turn, bank to the outside, and the exit leading to the first downhill, the Monster Energy step down that leads into a 90-degree right turn 3. One thing the riders have commented on is how deep the ground has been ripped. Evidence here on the exit of this second turn. This will all get fluffed over and watered, but you can see the run towards the first downhill. And just looking at turn 3, take a close look in a moment, but it is very, very tight. We may get away with problems in turn 1. It's wide enough at turn 2, but we've got the first real bottleneck at the bottom of the first downhill here. Kind of problems we're going to get with 40 riders on the grid. It's going to be an interesting first couple of corners. Once we're over the Ram tabletop jump though, the track really starts to open out, and as you can see, the next corner, the right-hander, you can see the familiarity of the racetrack from there. Just over to the left, the old finish line jumps. We'll take a look at the new finish line jump now though, because not one big jump, two big jumps, and you may have already seen some images online, but the racetrack here, with its different layout, will, I think, maybe provide slightly different racing. The ground will be familiar to riders, of course it will, but different lines, the racecraft, how to navigate the track, all those things will come into play here on Sunday. Just up on the top of the hill here, we're at turn 5, but this also doubles up as the final corner. Nice bank turn to the outside, as you can see. And this is going to be the run down towards the finish line area. Got this little bit of a scrub jump here. That'll sort itself out as the weekend goes on. But then look at the run down towards the finish line area. Monster Energy finish line there. That used to be, prior to this year, the sort of double step down after the finish line area, but now it's the finish line jump. Take a look at that in more detail. From the look of things, the Monster Energy finish line jump, a nice safe takeoff, not going to get too much hang time. Finish line very reminiscent of what we've seen in Germany, where it's more of a step up rather than a double or a tabletop, let's say. But as you can see, following on, landing down in the dip, and then we've got another huge takeoff. That one there on the jump that follows on, the jump almost 30 meters point to point, but again uphill, so when you land you can actually sort of pick your marker once you're up in the air, dip down on the other side and be prepared for braking into the next sweeping left-hand turn. That's the old finish turn, by the way, the old finish line jump. So uphill triple, 30 meters, spectacular part of the racetrack, something the riders will really look forward to hitting, especially if they come home and win the race here. But the dirt here, clay, it's heavily ripped, it'll get heavily watered as well. Temperatures unusually dry for this time of year, but not just dry, but also at the same time very, very hot. We've had like 32 degrees on Thursday before we arrived here. Friday a little bit cooler. What will the temperatures be on the weekend? Some saying around sort of like mid to 20s, something like that. So the track will be sticky in the beginning, it will bed down, you'll have those hard edges, it'll be deep and loamy in some corners. Riders, it'll be interesting to see whether they go for a scoop tyre or a hard tyre, probably a scoop. The racing will be frantic and furious, it always is. In terms of winners, Jorge Prado is a 3-time winner here. He was victorious here a year ago, round 4. Jeffrey Hurling's a 4-time winner around here. Tom Vial was the victor in MX2 last year. And so it just gives you an indication as to maybe the form book. But what about Andrea Adamo? What about Liam Everts? Both on the podium in Trentino last time out. What can they achieve here now that they've had those sort of watermark moments, if you like? a first Grand Prix victory for Adamo, first podium for Everts, and first win of the season for Prado as well, a year after he won his last GP, which incidentally was here, as we said. So it's going to be a cracking Grand Prix here in Portugal. Hope you enjoy it, and yeah, keep it tuned. MXGP-TV.